our March in the Net coverage brought to you by Colonial Marble and Granite. Welcome back here to Philly Sports Talk on this Thursday, brought to you by Comcast Business. We are joined by the very new head coach of the Drexel University Dragons, Zach Spiker. Thanks so much for joining us.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us.
Sam Donnellan alongside as well. And first I have to ask you, what was your initial thought when you got the call and you interviewed and then you accepted the job?
Well, anytime you had a chance to be involved with the Philadelphia Sports School, it was exciting. It was an honor to get the call, and from the very first start, my wife and I were very interested, very excited, and just elated to be here.
Well, congratulations. We look forward to having you as part of the City Six. It is such a unique basketball landscape here in Philadelphia with all the teams so close. I'm sure that's something that you obviously knew about, but it's going to be different for you. You have one of your rivals that's going to be 100 feet away.
At 33rd Street, and I used to work for Coach Downey. I was an assistant coach with him at Cornell,
That's
so we
right,
know each other. We know each other very well, but very different than being on the military base at the United States Military Academy. We're the only school within a number of miles. But no, that's what attracted us to it. Is a basketball-crazed city, and that's what it is. And it's great to have three teams in the tournament, and Villanova doing what they're doing still right now. And certainly Penn as a program has great history. Drexel has some history. We want to give the city a reason to come out and watch us play.
Yeah, for those that don't know, he was at the United States Military Academy, that is Army, West Point, which is an incredible place to certainly recruit and do well, and he did quite well there. So you should Google Zach Spiker because it's impressive. It's a hard thing to do.
I grew up not far from West Point, and so we went to football games there all the time. But I'm interested when you're saying that. And you probably were asked this during your interview, is there any similarity in terms of how you go about recruiting from there as how you will now be as this, she calls it the Big Six or the
City Six.
City Six.
Sure.
It's a Big Five, Sammy D.
Part of Philadelphia basketball.
I'm trying to make them bigger than you.
Right.
Is there any assimilation of that?
Yes, there is. There is. And at first glance, you would say, oh, what's it?
Right.
There's not much in common. But the reality is every school has a unique niche. And we found out what it was at West Point, and we hammered that, and we got kids to come there and buy into the process and the program. And we know Drexel has a niche, and there's a lot of great things about Drexel basketball. Part of its location, part of it the co-op. We want to get all those things and educate everybody to understand what's so great about Drexel. And then you find those kids that like that. You get people that want to be at the institution. They stay there. They're four-year players. They're veteran players, and that's how you build a program. That's exactly what we're going to try and do.
You mentioned building a program. Certainly Villanova has built a program based on their two leading seniors, in Daniel Chefu and Ryan Arcidiacono, and they are in Houston with the Final Four. Coach Spiker, I want to ask you that. We all chuckled when we were listening to every single guy say the same thing. We've gotten better, but so has Oklahoma. That obviously is Jay sending that message to his team.
Sure.
As a coach, you really probably want to hammer that home because you don't want to give any fodder for the other team to say, well, we've gotten better, but they're the same.
Well, I think we're all laughing for different reasons. You guys are laughing because I keep saying they're getting better. I'm laughing because that's the exact same message we're telling our guys later in the season. You want to make sure you're putting air in their tires to let them know how far they've come. There's still some basketball left, but you got to give them some confidence going into those games. That's everybody's goal has to be improvement. All right, level of talent can determine how long you play. All right, but certainly these are all four very talented teams that all could win it. But you got to make sure they feel confident going in. They've gotten better and they're ready to play great basketball.
Is there any advantage? See, that was in Hawaii, which is a beautiful place in December. Is there any advantage for the team that did get blown out to have this kind of a rematch after you feel so good? I mean, at the end of the day, I think Nova was #1 longer than Oklahoma was this year.
Yes.
Is there an advantage in that?
I think there's human nature. Certainly the team that, hey, we won by 23, 78-55 in Hawaii, that we feel comfortable, and that's probably the bigger challenge would be to the Oklahoma staff, the Villanova and Coach Wright and his staff.
They're the same team.
Coach Wright, they got a little chip and something to prove, and they've gotten better, and they're going in this game hungry. I know this. I wouldn't put money against Villanova in the Final Four, right?
Yeah, they look awfully good and very confident right now. I want to go back out to Ruben Frank real quick, and we welcome you back here into Philly Sports Talk on this Thursday, brought to you by Comcast Business. Still joined by new Drexel head coach Zach Spiker and the Daily News' Sam Donnellan, and we will continue talking about Villanova as they prepare for their big Final Four matchup against Oklahoma. And Zach, I want to ask you, we've been watching the tournament. Buddy Hield is as good as advertised. He's a guy that's a 4-year player. He's gotten better every year. He certainly has gotten better as this year progresses. He's averaging 29 points in this tournament. He had 37 against Oregon. Is the key to winning this game stopping him, or is it limiting him?
I don't know that you can stop a talented player like that, especially as a senior. He's seen it all. He's been through everything. he's benefiting from having 4 years of experience right now, and he's really playing with a great deal of confidence. If you go in there to hold him down, you're going to struggle doing that. But if you can make every shot he takes tough and contested, he's talented enough. He's going to make some of those. But the harder he works for his makes, as the game goes along, maybe he comes up a little bit shorter late in the game. So you just got to make him work hard to take tough ones. Some are going to go. He's a talented player.
Well, and the other thing he does, as we saw in that first loss, is he's not afraid to give it. If you make it too tough for him, he's going to give it to. He's going to find somebody.
He plays with a very high IQ. He will share the basketball. I think one area where you could attack and make him a little bit more fatigued and make him not focus on his offense is defensively. Can you go at him? And he's the next thing you know, maybe a couple of guys are scoring on him, and then he's got to focus on that. And takes his focus away from being the lead scorer every single time he touches the basketball.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who they put on him. Josh Hart is the first one that comes to mind because he's at least certainly athletic, and it'll be interesting.
Well, that's what we should ask the coaches. Well, we've had these hybrid zones by Jay this year. What would you, if you were defending him with Jay's team, would it be more zone? Would it be more? Would it be some sort of hybrid?
I think you got to have a steady diet of mixing it up. If you stay with one thing, he's going to get used to it. So the ability in Coach Wright is one of the best, and I don't think he'll allow him to be comfortable in any way, whether he's got size on him or sometimes you go with a smaller guy who can get up into him a little bit more and get quicker and take away the ball from a ball handling standpoint.
Yeah,
so
you saw how well.
There's a lot of different things you can do. The most important thing you need to do is keep him out of rhythm.
Yeah, you saw how well they did against Perry Ellis and Kansas. Certainly a guy that they took out of the rhythm for that game. Thank you. We want to thank also Zach Spiker and wish you the best of luck. Please come on again. Anytime, you're always welcome. Certainly before the start of the season. Good luck to you and your Drexel Dragons.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Sammy D, don't go anywhere. We're talking a little bit more coming up.